Go.
Oh, and I'll put a link there.
So I just want to say hello to our gals, pals, and non-binary pals. And welcome.
Really tailoring this one to me, huh?
Well, I've been trying to play different intros that's a little more inclusive. I'm just like, gals. Wait, what the hell did I say?
Well, there's girls, gays, and theys.
Gals, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. It's like that.
I like that one. Like that's pretty all-encompassing.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so you guys don't know who the fuck Mark is. You ain't paying attention, first and foremost. But yeah, so Mark's here to talk about his book, man. He's got this great fucking book coming out, or it is out. And you can pre-order it. And here comes Mia. Perfect. Mia's in the house. Thanks for joining us, Mia. So this is a special edition of Low. We're gonna be talking about Mark's book and his path, his journey to and from in and out of that whole 2020 thing, you know. And of course, Von's in the house always. Yeah,
I just saw Von the other day on Russell's.
Yes. But yeah, so just you guys know. Oh yeah, I gotta put the link. Can you put the link to where you buy your book at in the private chat, and I'll put it up here on a banner.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So.
Hey, Von. I've had a few conversations with Von myself this week, and it's been great.
Yeah, Von's a real one, man. But yeah, so if you guys don't know what this looks like, I'm gonna put this link in the comment section here. If you guys can click on there and get a preview of the book.
Ooh, you might want to retract that.
No.
Hold on, I don't know what link you sent. Klockow Co pre-order. Oh, okay, I thought you sent the link that I sent you privately, and I'm like, boys, that's the entire book.
Not that one.
We can't link the book. Anyways, here's the book.
But yeah, so okay, Mark, bring it back up. I'm gonna put you on.
Okay, all right. Hey, look at that! Look on the big screen. The lighting is absolutely terrible this time of night.
That's better.
And this is the pre-release version, so I made a few changes to it. But front and back there. Hardcover, 160 pages, full color, and I upped the print quality too of the pages, so it should definitely retain its quality.
Well, I want to talk about the name of the book, Fearing and Loathing. I like that. What brought you to sit down with that one?
So, well, it's two things. So, I was consulting one of the group chats I'm in. Arguably, it's you could call it like somewhat like post-Yang. Not that it's like everyone there is like, I hate Andrew. It's just they're not like, 2020 like involved. I was just kind of like, y'all, I have the book kind of finalized. Like, what do you think? And someone just pitched Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail. And I'm like, wait, like Hunter S. Thompson's book, Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail 72. And actually, I still am a huge fan of Hunter S. Thompson. So I was kind of like, wait, Fear and Loathing, that resembles the entire process of like running an outsider in a Democratic primary. All of the crazy things that happened. I mean, Boyce, you remember going event to event in Iowa. It was at least we had a lot of loathing. I'm not sure fear until maybe the Iowa results came in. The fear was the end, yes. But I just thought it was a really funny title.
I think it's perfect because that's politics.
Yeah,
you fear it, you loathe it, you love to love it, and you hate it, and it's politics.
Yep.
And plus the madness we witnessed.
Too much of it. I mean, it's like, and the thing is too, the team, we did not have any insiders really when it came to the 2020 run. Like it was just a scrappy team of underdogs, kind of just like, hey, you want to join the campaign? Hey, you want to join the team? Hey, you want to join the team? Okay, we got a team. And there wasn't any like, massive like consulting firms like normal campaigns would have. It was just kind of just what it was. And that's like what I loved about it too, is like, yeah, no, this is, if there's going to be a political campaign that I would attach myself to, it would be one that's more of an outsider one.
Well, I consider the Yang 2020 campaign more like the Bad News Bears of politics.
Not far off there.
Yeah, go ahead, Mia. Sorry.
Just a real quick question. I was wondering what the picture on the cover of the book was.
Oh yeah, the picture. So this is this photo. I was actually going through. Let me set down my cancer stick for a second. I was going through all of my shots, trying to whittle down like 7, 8, 9,000 shots, all the way to effectively, like I can only include so many. And then I realized I had an entire folder that were like shots I loved, and it was just Andrew at this one event somewhere in Iowa. But I just got a shot of him just kind of, that is his typical, I'm joking with the crowd.
Yeah.
I'm having fun. The back of it's a similar shot, but I think he's just eyeing me to see if I laughed at a joke or something.
Was that at that little coffee shop?
I don't know if it was a coffee shop, but it was the one where he stood up. So Heidi Yangvets was there, and like she was effectively the advanced, only like one of the only advanced team people there, and there was no real like way to stagger Andrew. So Andrew would just be at like head height, and you can't do that for a political event. So all that could be grabbed was this like really flimsy plastic chair, this folding chair, and Andrew, stood up on it. Heidi was like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my freaking job. Because if something happens, it's like that's not good. And then at the end of the event, in Andrew fashion, he jumps off of the chair, and then he like puts his hands up like, let's see Bernie do that. And that was that event, which I was like, wow, that's bold, but that was kind of funny. It was getting pretty competitive between Andrew and Bernie. I think it's in certain sects at that point in Iowa. Yeah. So, but that's the story of how I came to these two images, and I was just like, these two will do. It's just like flip it around. He's looking at you, and then he's not looking at you.
Right.
I don't know.
I like, it's almost like subtle. Like he's looking at us, like as the crowd, and he's looking at you as an observer. Like
once he finished the book, it's like, did you enjoy the book?
Well, that some bitch will lock eyes with you too, man.
Yeah.
He will lock in.
The scarf's there too. That scarf.
Oh, the infamous scarf. Yeah.
You gotta have that in there.
Miss the scarf.
Everyone was like hunting on Amazon for that.
So, Mark, I know that you went through thousands of pictures, thousands of hours, and tens of thousands of miles we've all put on chasing that sucker around the country. So that's who you were, like, but who were you before you decided to chase the Asian man who's going to give everybody money all over the country? Like, who were you before this started?
So that's a good question, because I actually wrote about, and the way that this book is laid out, and boys, I did send you that one link. So if you do eventually later on, if you want to maybe put up a few pages, for example, the start of this book, so I'll leak the very start section of this book. It's the first ever rally that I organized for Andrew. And it starts off just an image, and it says there, the text, you probably can't read it. May 4th, 2019, Detroit Shipping Company, Detroit, Michigan. That was my first rally. And then it's just a flurry of photos from that first ever rally. And then to cap off that section, it's a spread layout here with a bit of a story. And to your question, this is actually what that's about.
Okay.
So effectively speaking, I wanted to do freelance photography. I eventually found something like right after I graduated high school, which I didn't live in Detroit at the time. I lived about an hour north in suburbia. And, it was like, okay, everyone's like, you're good with computers, go into IT. It kind of felt akin to the learn to code kind of thing we heard on the trail. And it's just like, but I don't want to code. And it's like, for me, I was like, but I don't want to plug in and unplug mice for, older people that don't know how to, work an email server, whatever it is. Yeah. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe I'll grab, like a baseline DSLR camera. And that actually collected dust for a good 6 months. And then one day I was just kind of like, let's give this a go. Let's see how to work this thing. it turns out I actually kind of just really kind of was just like, wow, wait, how did I make that image? And it was kind of like this in the back of my head. There was this like a little bit of a thrill. So that would be at the start of 2017. I finished out my first semester of college doing in like an IT direction. Did not like it, and I was kind of like, at the very least, I'm going to take a break. And then I ended up taking just like a few little trips with some friends, you know, just around not only Michigan, but like we had, you know, found some cheap flights, maybe like to go to like, you know, Vegas or San Fran for a day or two. And I took my camera. And, you know, during the summer of 2017, I was still living with my parents. I knew I wanted to move out. I knew I wanted to like do something for myself, but I knew I didn't want to be locked into just like, you know, IT career or something. So I kind of, it's not that I forced myself to fall in love with photography. It just kind of happened. And lo and behold, then I ended up taking some of those, just a bit left of the funds that I would have spent on the next few semesters of college. And I just was like, no, this is, you know, move out money. And so I moved out to downtown Detroit, which I would not advise because gentrification, things cost too much. You get a small apartment, you know, deal with problems. And it's like, I figured out the residential situation since then. But I was now in this giant city, you know, the biggest city in Michigan. And I was like, oh my gosh, there are so many things happening. There are so many things I can take photos of. But something I detailed here in the start of the book was, okay, that's great. You want to do photography, but you don't know anyone. You don't have a portfolio. You don't have that launch pad. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, a little too late. So I grabbed, you know, some menial jobs and stuff. I was like a, you know, manager at a Rite Aid. I did some like Uber Eats and stuff. I did just like some basic things, but I just, the most I did with photography was, you know, just doing some shoots for friends. And it would just be like, let's do a test shoot. Like I'd have a friend that'd be like, hey, I can model. And I was like, okay, I'll try to make, you know, the shots look good. And I got good feedback. It's just, that was just a fun little shoot with a friend, you know, that didn't go anywhere. It's just the very start of potentially building a portfolio. And, you know, fast forward about, I'd say, I don't know, about a year and a half from moving to Detroit. And I was kind of like, you know, and this would be what, February 2019. And I was just kind of like, ugh, like, what did I get myself into? You know, yeah, I wanted to do, you know, photography. I wanted to really make that my whole thing. But it's just like, I was too busy doing Uber Eats, too busy doing Rite Aid stuff. And I was just like, this sucks, you know, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And around that time, candidates were starting to announce their, you know, that was like when the big wave of candidates came in. Yep. You know, Bernie announced around then. And I was a pretty fervent Bernie person in 2016. So I was like, okay, what's he got for 2020? I checked it, and it felt kind of like a copy and pasted, you know, message. Yeah. I was like, I support it, but it didn't excite me. Like, I was like, okay, well, he's gonna, in my pessimistic mind, I was like, oh, he's gonna get clobbered again. You know, not really necessarily to his own fault, but just on how 2016 went for him. And so then I was like, okay, there's got to be some other stuff going on. Eventually, I did stumble across Andrew, and I was like, wait, this guy is running on this universal basic income thing. And at that point, I actually knew what UBI was, like, from when I moved out. I just never thought that anyone would actually try to put it on a presidential platform. And, you know, I did my research, and I was like, okay, next check. This guy isn't a doofus, right? You know, like, he actually knows what he's talking about, you know, long form interviews. I was like, okay, solid. And that's when I was kind of like, all right, I did my research. How can I help? And at that time, I think there was one or two people that called themselves the Detroit Yang Gang or whatever. It was tiny. There was virtually nothing. And the people that did call themselves that, they lived like 20, 30 minutes outside of the city. So I'm just like, you guys don't have anyone that lives in Detroit anyways. So I was like, okay, how can I help? And lo and behold, a few weeks after I reached out to the founder of the group, it was just a dude named Paul that, lived about 20, 30 minutes out of the city. The team, I think it was Shelby from the team, sent out an email because I was like the closest chapter they had. And they were like, we have a canceled date. Can you guys put together a rally? And they were like, can you try to get 300? We're trying to go for 300 people in attendance, throughout the whole event. Can you guys just find us a venue, put us in contact with, the GM or the owner of the venue, and we'll do the rest. So, and they were like, also, you've got 2 weeks. So I was like, oh, wow, we have a tiny team of people, and this small campaign wants to pull a considerable crowd. So I started flyering. We printed up a bunch of the kind of pre-rendered flyers for the event. I remember just going up and down every freaking street I could think of in Detroit, just being like, hey, May 4th, I think it was at 6 p.m. Be here, Detroit Shipping Company. This dude that's trying to give everyone money is going to be speaking, and give him a listen, because no one knew who Andrew was. Even then, even after Joe Rogan, even after, the initial podcasts and stuff. And lo and behold, we ended up pulling out come event time, instead of 300, which is what the team was asking for, we pulled about almost 600 people to that event. And something in the back of my mind went like, wait, there's something here, there's something happening. And I remember I got to, just kind of shoot the shit with Zach at that event. And actually that same day, to bring it back to Bernie, this is really what got me hooked and involved in the campaign. It wasn't even necessarily this guy's smart about UBI, this guy's this and that. Small donor percentages are pretty important for grassroots campaigns. And if everyone remembers, Bernie's thing in 2016 and in 2020 was like, oh, the average contributor is $27,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, great. Here's the thing. Andrew statistically was right on Bernie's butt in second place. I think it was Bernie led the pack at I don't know. It was something 87% of his donations were grassroots,
Right.
Under 200 or whatever it is. And Andrew was at, I don't know, a few percentage points behind. And then Warren was in third place at 70. So there was this big gap between Bernie and Warren. And, Andrew was doing great. So I was like, oh, awesome. And Bernie puts out a small donor statistic the same day we're doing this rally. And Andrew's just completely erased from it.
Mm.
And I actually had a conversation with Zach about that. And it's in that moment, I was just kind of like, oh, we can actually, thank you, Elizabeth. I've been working on it. But what do you call it? I just kind of knew, and in that moment, that I could just talk to the team. They didn't seem, it didn't feel like too much of a hierarchy. It kind of just felt like these are normal people. And from that moment, all right, I really want to get involved then. So, that starts the whole story of my involvement, which I talked more and more about the roles I took up in this book, all of the side quests, I like to call it, that I did aside from photography. But by about the fourth debates, that was when I really wanted to shift fully into doing kind of a movement POV photographer, not a campaign photographer, but behind the scenes, this is what's happening. If you, showed up in a math hat somewhere and you're trying to find the rest of the math hats, this was the POV. And that's what I was capturing, which I guess was pretty unique, at least in the sense that this was a different POV and it wasn't just the candidate that I was taking photos of. And, that's kind of just how things really got going. Those May, June, July, those months in 2019 were just, it was like a rocket ship, you know, and that's how I, you know, came to meet Tyrene, Lacey, you know, some of the real OGs. And, you know, it just blossomed from there. You know, I remember running into you, meeting you, Boyce. Russell was out there in Detroit at the second debates.
Detroit, man. That was,
and, you know, you remember I had that camera glued to me the whole time. So that was kind of like, I just signed myself up for, I guess, a volunteer role, so to speak, as a movement photographer. And later on, way down the line, that blossomed into like the team just kind of like, you know, knew who I was, knew who you were. They knew the people that were there that really
adopted us.
Oh yeah.
Unofficial. Like, okay, yeah, you guys are here. Good.
Yeah, yeah. Like, oh gosh, we needed a photographer, we needed a live stream, we needed something. Thank God you're here. You know?
Quick comment. I'd like to point out to anybody in the audience that is a great way to, you know, get involved in things. Volunteer opportunities is how with this kind of thing. This is ground up building. Get in here now while we're building the forward party and be part of that. That's how you get in there. And
absolutely. That's a great point, Mia, because people are always like, well, how can I get involved? You know, blah, 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 blah. Like you said, Mia, you've been volunteering for Humanity Forward forever. I know you've taken on some more responsibilities there too. It's all about doing what you can with what you have, no matter what it looks like. Just do it. Do something. I know it's something I've always been, you know, I've been beating my chest about that shit for 3 years now almost. Is like, I don't care what you do, just do something. It doesn't matter if it's literally just retweeting a certain content creator or a certain member of the Forward Party or the Forward Party's Twitter page or Andrew Yang. You know what I mean? Like, do something, be consistent, and be available when you can. That's a really good point, Mia.
And I was thinking about that because you were talking about the side quests, right? Like, how many roles did you try on in that time? Oh gosh! And how many times did you think of giving up on being a photographer too? Because I know that's probably happened a few.
So one of the roles that I wrote about in this book at the end of because I have this book, it's sectioned off in like, it's like, you know, first rally in Detroit in May. Then it goes immediately to the second debates in Detroit, which actually were do or die for the campaign. As Boyce, you'll recall that. And, you know, man, I'm sure you know, it's just like that debate was super important to the team. And that's why I was like, while I did want to do photography as my main thing, I felt like I almost needed to take on, what was it? The YGRO role, which stands for Yang Gang Regional Organizer, in which me at the time, I was like 21. It's like, oh, hey, Mark, you're partially in charge, at least in the volunteer sect, of the entire Rust Belt. Good luck. It was kind of like, go get them. This is a lot. Yeah, this is a lot, guys. And yeah, that system wasn't the smoothest rolling that out. But, you know, it was a small campaign. I get it.
It was juvenile and adolescent, man. We're trying to figure this thing out. We're putting the plane together as we fall out of the sky.
Yeah, like staffers included.
You know, so that's just what it is when you do grassroots shit, man. You have people who've never done things, taken on and say, you know what? It's like an entrepreneur. Can you do this? Yes. Then you go figure out how to do it. You know, like that's like you're saying, YGRO. That sounds daunting.
It's a role that nobody else is willing to take on because they feel like it's too much for them. But the reality is, eventually, if you keep plugging away at something, you become the person who's right for that role.
Yep, become an expert.
Yeah, and you know, at a certain point, that role, it's not that it became too much. It's just, it was like, I felt like it would swamp my abilities to do what I really wanted to do, which was photography. So I ended up actually passing off that role to my good friend Jess, who is came around roughly the same time I came around in Detroit. And, you know, she was great with that role. She's way more organized than I am. It was just like a natural, like, pass off. Like, yeah, you take this. I'm going to go down to Ohio and take some photos that, you know,
a little more right brain. Yeah, a
West
little more
result.
right brain versus left brain, huh?
Yeah,
You're the
and
creative type.
that's through, I would say, probably the fourth Democratic debate and fifth Democratic debate. That was when I like realized, like, yeah, no, photography is my thing. I feel like I'm growing as a photographer, whereas maybe as a regional organizer, I was learning, but like it just wasn't the right plug. And I learned that over time. To your point, May.
Right. It's that it's that it when you feel it. It's that endorphin rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, you find your groove. You start doing something really well, and everything just falls into place, and that's you stay there. You stay there. And photography's where it ended up with you. I'm very glad you stuck with that because passion matters.
Yeah, and not to like sell the whole summary of the book here, but like I said earlier, it was small photographer meets small campaign. And towards the end of the book, I mean, I hope if for those that do pick up this book, you'll see, I'm still proud of my shots from like those early days, but like towards the end of the book, I'm just like, whoa, that's a different photographer right there. And don't even get me started fast forwarding, months after, like, boys, that's a later part of the segment. But it's it's like I really did feel like I actually had the wherewithal to actually grow, do my thing, and it did effectively work itself out. Because with every debate, it became crazier and crazier. The schedule became more and more packed. Oh gosh, when we got to Iowa, whew, I mean, 5 events a day. You're driving like 90 minutes like between events. It's just whoa. But in the back of my mind, I was just like, hey, we're still here. Like Harris dropped out back in early December, and meanwhile we're partying in Iowa. Like I was like, I don't care. I will make these events, even if I was too tired or whatever. I was just like, no, I'm gonna make it. And boy, it's while it was incredibly stressful, it was worth it because some of those stories, I mean, from Iowa alone, oh my gosh.
Well, also, guys, let's give a shout out to the fucking Yang Gang, man, because you guys help people like us go. It is expensive to travel and stay overnight. The travel is a price, but the fucking lodging is the real money gobbler, man. Just staying somewhere. And to all the people let us stay at their places for free, thank you so fucking much.
That was key.
Ryan Odegawa in LA, fucking what's his name, June in New York City, man. Ching Jewel, all the people that have helped all of us do what we can to find your passion. So Mark, do you have a place that lists every place you went so far in the 2020 campaign?
Oh, like an index?
No, like do you have a list of all the like cities you did events to? Like, I think that'd be an interesting thing to do.
See, that was the one thing because if you surrender to almighty Google, you effectively are like, this is where I am 24/7. And actually you can go into your like Google Maps history and see where the hell you were. I tried doing that, but it didn't really map it out. But to summarize, at least the chapters of this book, it would be Detroit for the first rally, Detroit second debates. I missed the third debates over in Texas because I think I just got a cold then.
That was Atlanta, wasn't it?
Nope. Fourth debates, Dallas, Columbus / Westerville, Ohio. Fifth debates, and that was October. Fifth debates, November in Atlanta, Georgia. Sixth debates in
LA, baby.
LA, like right before Christmas.
Yep.
Then that's when like the schedule was just like, get ready. You're gonna be like,
just
Iowa, get ready.
Iowa, motherfucker for a month.
Before Iowa, a 13-hour drive from Detroit to New Hampshire for New Year's Eve with Andrew.
Yes,
and that was nuts. Then we had like a campaign office opening that New Year's Day 2020. And then it was Iowa. I mean, boys, let's brainstorm here. Davenport, Ames, Des Moines, Waterloo, you know, like, where's the map?
I'm pulling up a map right now because I actually can think of all those little
Yeah, the little towns between the towns, you know, like,
yeah,
the hell are
Iowa
we stopping
City,
here for?
Cedar Rapids.
Oh yeah, Cedar Falls too.
Yep, Cedar Falls. Webster City's Fort Dodge. We went to I think in Osceola, Jefferson City or Jefferson, Fort Dodge. So we did this huge square that one day. We went to like 6 or 7 events. Started at a bowling alley at 10 a.m.
I have photos of that in the. Okay, we'll leak that page. Hold on, because I actually love the photo I got.
Oskaloosa is where Oskaloosa is where we went to that coffee shop.
Clinton, Iowa was the bowling event.
That's
right here. My favorite shots on the right here. Andrew just giving a little kid a high five.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was bowling. I think it was called bowling for Yang or bowling with Yang. I might have screwed that up, but. No, I have events in flurries here. Like some pages are just like, here's 5 different events on one page. And then the next page is like, here's an entire page dedicated to this one spot because it was so neat.
That's a cool event. But yeah, so you have, like you said, thousands of photos. How do you narrow it down? How do you narrow it down to 160 for a book? That part baffles my mind. And how many hours and days and weeks and months did you spend? Like, because the book cost you everything: time, resources, and your mental health. I go through, like, if I take like 200 or 300 photos, I'm about to lose my mind. I'm like, holy shit, I don't have time to sit here and go through all these things. But you have to, but then thousands.
Oh yeah.
Like, so what's that process like to say, okay, this one got cut. I love this shot, but damn it, this one's better. You know what I mean? Like, what's that process like? I'm very interested in that.
Yeah. So that definitely, like, when I started the book, that was my initial thought. I was like, how the hell am I going to do this and not lose my mind? So the thing is, while I wanted to start this project, I wanted to start it right after suspension, and we'll get into why I couldn't a bit later. But I effectively started this project, I would roughly say sometime around like midsummer this year, because I knew, I was just like, I'm not going to let these shots just sit in an album somewhere. Also, they were taking up a lot of space on my computer, so I was kind of pissed off at that. I can't just like tweet this out and people are like, yeah, I'm going to retweet this random shot of Andrew. It's like, no, I got to make this a whole collection. So I actually found it's one site that you can effectively build coffee table photo books from. They give you a little program. I think it's called like Bookright. Okay. And literally the whole program is like, you choose how many photos per page. You can choose the layout. Do you want text on it? Do you want to superimpose an image on another one? And I was like, ooh, fun, a creative tool to organize all of these shots. So then it comes down to, all right, let's narrow it down and let's set one rule, make it chronological. So obviously it was pretty easy with like the first rally, because I only had, I think, a total of like 30 or 40 shots. And I narrowed that down to maybe like 10, 15 shots, that was pretty easy. And also some of the shots were just terrible. So like I look at it now and I'm like, why is like Andrew in like the bottom quadrant of this and like the rest of his negative space? Like, what was I doing? But
then you got the goat guy, you know, like,
yeah. And there were like, some interesting like little things there. So I was like, okay, got that. And then I realized, all right, well, why don't I section this off into like, because it was paced pretty well with the debates pre-Iowa. And, you know, I could just kind of like be like, okay, I'll dedicate at least 10 pages to each debate/event. Yeah. And that's what I did. So Detroit debates, those are only like about 8 pages or so, maybe even less. And then came down to like Ohio and fourth debates, and I was like, okay, I need 12 here. Okay, then boom, we got maybe like 14 or something for like Atlanta, maybe less. And I just started sectioning it off, but then I was like, I just want this to be a slideshow, and I was like, no, I'm going to tell a little story, and I'm going to do a little write-up, you know, a couple paragraphs on context of what was going on from not only my POV, perhaps like the campaign's POV too, it just where this longer than long shot candidate, you know, was, and then the fun stories that come with it, because oh my gosh, boys, the stories we could tell, you know, some of it has to remain off the record. But
karaoke in Ohio is one of my favorite days, honestly.
Oh yeah. And then like I've got like a story I wrote about in Atlanta, and when we were in Atlanta, I remember like, you know, you had the watch party. Andrew didn't get called on at the debate for like 32 minutes because it was hosted by MSNBC. So it's like, okay, lead this text section with the blackout, frustration. And then it's like, okay, we're going to have an after party with Andrew. You know, I think it was like Lacey and Carly came by and they're like, can we get everyone over to the after party spot? And it's like, okay, get over there. We're waiting for like an hour and a half. And then it's like, we go out. This is one little nugget I'll share from the book, because I love this story. So we were getting so impatient there. It was like 1:15 in the morning. No one knew where Andrew was, aside from maybe like the top of the team, which they, you know, you don't share that information like constantly with people. So at a certain point, Tom, you remember Tom, obviously.
Oh yeah.
He drove up from Florida to Atlanta. And one of the things he took with him, he notoriously took everywhere, was the old cannabis, which gladly we can talk about now because it's a lot more casual and legal. But he takes up this nearly gallon-sized bag of cannabis. Gallon-sized. Like, I kid you not. It's massive. And so it's 1:15 in the morning. Everyone's impatient. So then a few of us, you know, maybe like 5, 6, 7 of us, we all go out to the back and, you know, the parking lot of this venue. And Tom's just like, look at this giant bag. And we're like, okay, screw it. We don't know when Andrew's going to be here. Let's, you know, smoke some weed to pass the time. And then, of course, it just immediately turns into a Cheech and Chong type scenario. I mean, the entire minivan at like 1:20, 1:25 in the morning is clouded to the point where you can't see your hand like this far ahead of you. It's pitch black out. The only lights, there is a few lights on in the minivan, and the whole thing's cloudy. Everyone's just like, you know, having a great time. And then all of a sudden, some headlights, you know, kind of like drive by, and we're just thinking, like, at first, it's just a car passing by. And then we're like, well, who the hell's coming here at this time of night? And wait, and then someone like kind of puts their head against like the glass, you know, and they're like, and then someone else, is that them? And I was like, yeah, that's them. And it turns out it was Andrew's car, or the car Andrew was in. And Andrew's going through the back of this venue. He's already like super late. It's 1:30 a.m. by this point. And then we open up the doors of this minivan. Smoke pours out, just like it's up in smoke. And then, you know, I've got these shots of me following Andrew, like the back of his head, like into this venue from like, I guess, a third person POV. And the fun part of the story as well, we were just so impatient. We were like all high, but it was just like, it just felt right in the moment. You know?
And it works, man. It works.
And yeah, we're a very pro cannabis campaign anyway. So, and then, yeah, there you go. Yeah, come on, Joe.
My focus is very, very high. I can function on pretty much any amount that you shove in my face. So I challenge you to try.
I was balancing that operational point in that moment. So like I was like, I'm just like no more. But it's like Andrew's here, so that kind of perked me up, and you know that was that. And then Andrew, like I said, with this frustration from the debate, he like just opens up to this like 1:30 a.m. crowd. Like, so I was sitting there, you know, like this was his first like sentence practically. I actually even cross-checked it with like Matt's live stream. So I was sitting there and I was like, when the hell are they gonna fucking call on me? And everyone just erupts in cheer. It's 1:30 a.m. at this after party spot. And it's just like, and I just tried taking photos of reactions of the crowd, of Andrew's antics, of everything, the selfies, everything. And I just wanted to show, while we were all frustrated and it seemed like, you know, Andrew was truly going to get like finished off by, say, the establishment or DNC kneecapped. It's like, no, this is like the fun stuff that was happening on our end. And you know, that's like one of, you can read more details about that in the book, but that's a fun little story from the Atlanta debates.
Hell yeah. So, you know, you've narrowed it down. You got the book. 2020 shuts down. You went to, then you had the Black Lives Matter summer.
Yes. So
you worked your ass off for 100 fucking days straight.
Which is why this book is coming out now and not a year ago. Because for those that don't know, so, you know, Andrew's suspended on February 11th, 2020. And there was maybe like a 1 month lag time. And in that month, I was kind of just like, back in the chart, I was like, well, like I said from the start of the story, you know, the magic of this was small photographer means small campaign. But what happens when that campaign is now dead? You know, it's over. At least from an electoral standpoint. And I was sitting there, I was a bit depressed, you know, and then people are talking about this whole COVID thing, and some people are like, it's not going to happen. We're good on that. And then boom, March, everything's shut down. And 2 weeks of slow spread turned into 4 weeks, turned into 2 months. And I don't think really anyone knew what was going to happen. So at this point, I wanted to do more freelance work. I felt like I was more of a competent photographer, but it just was like, everything was shut down. Like, who needs photos right now, you know? And like, the only thing I could really think of is like, maybe I can take some photos for some businesses and like, I guess, update their Google, like, you know, Google Maps photos that come up. It's like, but that's not enough. That's, anyways. So fast forward a bit, and now we're 2 months into lockdown, and which half the people were complying with, half the people weren't. So it's like, we're not getting out of this virus. And then in late May, you know, the tragic killing of George Floyd happened. And literally there was like I think it was like a 4-day lag period. 2 days, I believe, after the killing happened. I believe some of the first cities started marching. And then, like, I believe it was on the 29th of May, almost every other city, I think like Detroit and Portland started marching on the same day. So I got wind that meet over here at this time, this day. And it wasn't clearly like for this and this and this. It was a very loose, like almost just kind of like we're all gathering for the same reason, but we're not gathering under like one brand or one organization. It was just about like 1,000+ Detroiters all gathered at one of the largest police precincts in downtown Detroit. And, you know, those first 5 nights, we'll just say I learned a lot about how the system deals with protests that they don't want to happen. Because the context here is Detroit, there was virtually zero property destruction. There was zero rioting, you know, and because I think there was like one kid probably came in from like 30 minutes out of Detroit, wanted to come in for the hubbub. I think like one Nike store glass window pane got broken. Nothing was stolen, but that was enough for the police to go from "we stand with you" to militaristic lockdown mode. And boom, there go then there is the tone of the 2020 protests in Detroit. And frankly speaking, as a photographer, I mean, I thought I was shooting under pressure with Andrew. This took it up to a whole nother level when you introduce rubber bullets, tear gas, riot shields, batons, and really just
and guns.
Yeah,
like real bullets.
Oh yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, the start of something. So I just took a bunch of photos from those like first 5, 6, 7 days. And I actually, the group that was kind of like loosely forming in Detroit, I sent it off to like some of their organizers, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You want to just keep taking photos?" And like, "Well, you know, credit you and this and that." And I was like, "It's not about the credit. I just want to document what's going on in the city."
Mhm.
And that relationship just sustained itself. I mean, and I could talk for hours about like what happened there, but let me just say, you know, as a photographer, I'm supposed to, there is freedom of the press, supposedly. And no, that doesn't exist when it's on whenever you hear the loudspeaker say an unlawful assembly has been declared, that means anything goes. Which really sucks and kind of, I would say, radicalized me in a direction that I had semblances of like going a bit left through Andrew's campaign. But once I saw what happens to honest, independent journalists, to honest, peaceful protesters, and to all of that, that definitely kind of almost completed that arc for me. And
that was,
sorry, say again?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but anybody who sees that and doesn't change a little bit, like, I don't know how to not witness that and not. It's horrible. And that's just as, like, I'm not where you were with it. Like, I was watching from the sidelines throughout all that stuff, and it was terrible just to hear the stories, to have to be there. Do you have, like, any, I hate to say it like this, do you go to therapy for it at all? Any PTSD out of that?
Yeah, I think there is a collective trauma that everyone that did attend the march or was trying to document it or was, you know, a volunteer medic. I mean, you know, it became so brutal. It was almost kind of like just standard. Like every day we went out there, we could expect things to, you know, hit the fan at any moment. So to answer your question about like directly about getting therapy, if I could afford it, I would. Which is another part, you know, where you learn deeper about the system, you know, you go a bit further left and it's like, why do I have to pay for, you know, mental health? Like, this seems a little weird, you know, and it's like, that goes into the whole thing to connect it back to, say, Andrew and, say, Bernie's campaign, you know, Medicare for all, universal basic income, like, just guarantee people these things. We can afford it. The affordability is not, why are we concerned about our government being able to afford it when, well, you know, to Andrew's quote, most Americans, or what was it, majority of Americans can't afford an unexpected, $400 or $500 bill. Yep. And everything is commercialized and or capitalized in this country. So it's like, you know, I didn't have much of an option to answer your question about therapy. Though it's almost like kind of like the camaraderie of seeing the same people out there every day, and sometimes growing numbers. And then, you know, you're walking past through like kind of like a really downtown, like gambling area sort of district. And like Detroiters just out for a good night. They see the marches coming by, they cheer it on, they join the marches. It's almost like that energy kept me going. Also, alongside the fact that I knew that the city / the Detroit Police Department were doing some severely constitutionally illegal things to people. And I was like, I want to be there to document it, even if I ended up getting hurt. So that kept me, and that's the reason why this book didn't come out in 2020. It was like, I was literally every single day busy, documenting all of that stuff. And, you know, that helped me learn a lot more about what I stand for, what my values were, and just who I was and wanted to be as a person. You know, it wasn't just photographer. It was how can I apply my photography to my values that I learned.
Yeah. Well, I really hope. Go ahead, Mia. Sorry.
Well, I was just saying thank you. I feel like I'm interrupting both of you all the time, and I don't want to because you guys have such a great flow. But like,
see, this is why we need a physical studio, boys.
No, wouldn't that be nice?
The delay.
all the dreams that I have for what we can do.
Yeah, man, that's no joke, man. But so here's the thing, guys. The whole point of this is we need to support Mark. Period. We're not asking for donations. We're asking you to buy a piece of memorabilia that you will have an emotional attachment to for the rest of your fucking life. I know I will.
Yeah.
Because guys, I put in a lot of time and money and energy, but Mark doesn't have kids. Mark up and went to so many fucking places and documented thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures, put time and effort, equity into this. He lost sweat equity, I call it. And we need to reward him for his efforts. Thank you to all the people that supported us, him, myself, and others that traveled. But now we need to make sure that Mark stays a photographer. I don't want to get a fucking DM from Mark saying, I'm going to be a manager at Rite Aid again.
Oh, hell no.
I'll drive
Not going back there.
and I'll
Maybe
give you
Walgreens, not Rite Aid.
I will drive to Detroit, give you a fucking hug and $100 and say, just wait, please. Here's another $100, something, man. No way. So, you know, this is not, we're not asking for any kind of charity here. He's provided a product, a service, and we have to support him. If you've ever been to an event, you probably met Mark. So I really hope more people buy at least 100 people buy this thing like quickly when it pre-orders. He's got to buy 20 minimum at a time, so it's cost effective. You know, so we really do make big chunks, right? So I'm going to be buying 2, maybe 3. Because my Patreon it's got a little bit of something left in there. I might be able to sneak a little bit out of there I'll just pay the damn bills for the trickle up myself this time, you know. But we really do. I really do appreciate everything you've done, Mark. You've been a real one, man. And so I hope you're making a book for the Black Lives Matter stuff. I'd imagine that'd be
so. Yeah, to quickly wrap that up. So once like the things died down in Detroit, then I was like, okay, 2020 book, and then okay, book on the protests in Detroit. But then, lo and behold, out of freaking nowhere, John Ossoff follows me on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just find myself down in Georgia. Then I get word from someone from the team that Andrew's running for mayor. Mm-hmm. And then all the first half of this year, I was in New York City.
Yep.
So once I got back, I was like, oh my gosh, finally, like I have some time to work on this stuff. And, I want to do it chronologically. I'm just kind of like almost catching up on all these shots. But yeah, this is officially my first ever big photo book release. Yep. And the reason, the cost is what it is. Boyce alluded to, I get to save some money when I print in bulks of 20. But I also wanted to make this book, hardcover, full color, really high quality print. I don't want this book to get wear and tear, to get torn, this and that. Like, this is something that I really hope kind of just shows not only all the crazy, wacky things that happened, like, clouding Tom's minivan in Atlanta, but like, the just the upward trajectory of a small photographer meeting a small campaign and those two things growing together. Mm-hmm. Because, my last point is, once I got out to New York, the team, they weren't just like, screw you, Mark, go to the sidelines. It was like, oh my gosh, Mark's here. Welcome, welcome. Help us run things like press releases and stuff. And I'm like, okay. And so, hats off to not only like Andrew, Zach and the whole team and stuff, but it's like, I'm glad I hitched my wagon to them. And yeah. And even if I might not be like, fervently going so hard with, say, forward party or every single thing Andrew says, one of the last things I say in my book is that effectively the point is, stop deifying people. This Andrew, he is a normal person.
Mhm.
He is an average human being. He's a dad. He has 2 kids, and he's trying to, raise them in, freaking Manhattan. I mean, that's tough.
Mhm.
And through my time working next to him, with Andrew and stuff, it's, I've just kind of realized how much, he's gotten so much flack, but that's just because that's what happens to people running in any type of office. They will literally get eviscerated in every which way and direction. And people, while I do also see people, cheering Andrew on and everything he does, he's capable of mistakes too. He is a normal person.
Mhm.
And that is effectively why I've not, really, evaded Andrew, or evaded associating myself with Andrew, because he's treated me like a fellow human being. There was never a real true sense of hierarchy. And I just feel it just kind of felt like one big family.
Yeah,
a bunch of people trying to
Mhm.
get one small campaign going in the first place, right?
That's something I've always said too, is he makes you feel like a peer, not a subject.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? And the son bitch has got a great memory, man. I don't know how he does it.
That memory is kind of actually scary. Like,
Well, that's what Ivy League does, man. You learn how to memorize shit, and he remembers names and faces, and it's just amazing. And like you said, he makes you feel like this isn't nothing special, just another day. This is a special occasion, but it's not. The people don't, the individuals don't make it. What's special about it is the group that's come together to make it special. And the agenda is special, and our goals are aligned. So yeah, man, I cannot wait to get your physical book in my hand. I'm gonna fucking do a goddamn literal cartwheel on a video just to show I can do a cartwheel like I'm the
great.
I will never do that, just so that everybody knows. I will never attempt a cartwheel or any sort of physical activity on camera. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, or you can just smoke with it,
I mean, hey, my last point that I did want to get into what you were saying with, just strange coalition of people coming together and all of that to just rally behind now Andrew and the whole vision. But name another politician that's united, like socialists to independents to conservatives to like this, just like, have you ever heard really of that level of like a coalition just being that strong? I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand if people have distanced themselves in certain ways, but I would never think to have heard like, oh, this guy's running and somehow he's united the conservatives and socialists. I'm like, well, what? How?
And without having a career in politics, like Bernie had a similar diversity.
Yep.
He had 40 years to build upon, to a pedigree that he built upon. This was in a fucking year. He had 1 million followers on Twitter. Think about that. He had like 4,000 or 40,000, whatever it was he said. Then all of a sudden it's 1 million. Making the debate stages. That's an achievement. That's a short
every single one in 2019.
Yep.
Made every single one.
And they found a way to tweak it to keep him out of one, of course, so they could get Elizabeth Warren in. But anyway, that's water under the bridge. I'm salty still.
Hey, Bloomberg had to buy a spot, Shots fired at Bloomberg. And anyone associated.
Oh, I hate Bloomberg. I'll say that one openly.
Yeah, not a fan of Bloomberg here. So sorry, folks.
He's the thief of joy.
I would speak to him still, but I spend the entire time telling him what a terrible person I think he is and how he could be better.
I just call him a small human and not waste another breath of my precious time on this planet debating a thing with someone like that who thinks that the world revolves around one person. That egocentrical kind of thing. He has that little Trump kind of syndrome. But anyway, we can bitch about those people. So Mark, you're going to be working. What's next for you? Is like you're going to be working on the Black Lives Matter book, or what's anything else going on?
The rest of this year, most definitely is promotion of this book, obviously, because I do want to get the word out, and 100 books is my main goal. If we go beyond that, awesome. But 100 would do wonders for me in terms of, you know, my life and all that, in terms of being able to afford me time and energy to work on the next project, which likely the next one will be related to the Detroit protests in 2020. After that, who knows? Do people want a New York City run? I mean, my shots are a lot better in that book, that supposed book. So maybe a smaller version, because I think the presidential one was a lot more sentimental than the New York run.
Right.
Though the New York run definitely had its highlights.
Is abbreviated too.
Yeah.
Now, we do have a question from Elizabeth here. Have you thought about writing a book about your experience and like from your own personal point of view as a photographer? Like you said, small time photographer meets small candidate type of formation.
Short answer, yes. And I kind of took a stab at that in this current book that I just released. But you know, that's only a few paragraphs. It's almost like if I did end up really coming together and writing a book, I probably will at some point, because, and also, hey, the production cost on regular textbooks, so much cheaper than coffee table photo books. Like, oh gosh, everyone can get one then. But I would love to do something like that someday, Elizabeth. That is something that's down the line. But first and foremost, I want to do the second book, get that rolling at the start of 2022. I'm also working on a massive project with my friend Co in Detroit. It's called The Heart of Detroit. We're doing these massive, like, kind of like profile, like it's going to be kind of like a similar coffee table photo book, but like profiles on the people in Detroit that really like deserve a spotlight and all of that, and telling some really cool stories.
Like activists?
Not just activists. We're talking about family people. We're talking about artists. We're talking about musicians. We really want to get this book out there too. So I feel like I've already got like so many other books in the works, but it's going to be a very busy rest of 2021, a super busy early 2022. But I'm happy to say, finally, I'm sitting down, I'm putting these things together, and I really want to just make something really special that, you know, hopefully everyone that does get a copy of whatever book it may be, they'll be happy that they got it on their shelf. Title of my current book, or which one?
Yeah, good question. Which
just
one?
say them all. Just say them all. Go
so this one officially is titled Fear and Loathing on the 2020 Campaign Trail. Boyce, you have the link if you want to like put that up.
Yes, I have that.
That's how you get the book. Shipping to the States, at least, is the easiest way to get it. If you live outside of the States or international, something like that, shooting me a DM is probably the best way to get a copy, because I've finally figured out my PayPal situation with that, so I can actually ship them out. But this book is Fear and Loathing on the 2020 Campaign Trail. And the book that I'm working on with my friend Co is going to be called, I'm pretty sure we're going to call it The Heart of Detroit. But that's not out there yet. Still working on that one. But the official release is this one. Get it today, even though it says pre-order. I need to change that link. This is how you get the book. You go to that link, you add it to your cart. I just have like a $10 flat shipping thing to the States. Yeah, that usually balances out. And 2 to 3 weeks.
I think you answered the questions about the Heart of Detroit and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have no clue what the Detroit protest book is going to be called. I have no clue what the potential New York City run book will be called, though I want to title it something bodega related because, you know, there's so many inside jokes.
Hold my bodega.
Yeah. That's good. No, actually, I'll write that one down.
Or hold my bodega beer, the beer from my bodega. Hold my beer from the bodega.
Bodegian beers, you know, just like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's project season. And thank you just obviously to everyone that not only has bought this book, that wants to buy the book. It really does help me out, and it really does help forward my career as a freelance photojournalist, I guess, and publisher now, technically, right? Or is Blurb the publisher? I don't know. The point is that like this is my first big book, okay, and I'm proud of it.
Sasha, this is the book tour.
This is the virtual book tour.
This is the YouTube book tour. Oh yeah, where are you gonna be next? Where's your next place you're gonna be talking to people at?
So podcast wise, it looks like next up. I actually get a little thing of sticky notes here.
You got nerds coming up.
So what we've got is, I believe I'm waiting on you for the Read My Lips. But so far, actually no, we do have a booked date here. The next upcoming one that is official, it looks like, is Ching Jewel, who lives out in NYC, and I'll be going on her channel. Looks like on the 22nd of November. So that would be Monday, the 22nd.
Super chat, Elizabeth. You damn right it's been a ride. That's right.
And Ching will be at 4 p.m. Eastern. But I just check my Twitter. I'm going to be screaming about wherever I go on. And then there's always, chat replays and stuff. So, but yes, more people. Tom from Nerds for Humanity. That seems to be, we're still waiting on finding a date for that. We just did Russell yesterday, did this tonight. We're waiting on Read My Lips. And then I can't say anything too confirmed yet, but let's just say there might be an in-person podcast coming up. Maybe towards the end of this year, maybe at the start of next year. Whenever, let's just say the team can pencil me in. Near
the Times Square subway stop, I imagine.
Somewhere around there. I mean, what other hints can we give? Hey, Jules here.
22nd, yes. Yes.
Missy Ching.
But that's the thing, man. We have so many beautiful, creative people in this movement, man. Between like the just like specifically the art studio in LA.
Oh, that was the coolest freaking spot.
I wish I could show you guys more. I just live stream. I had shit reception, so it wasn't a great live stream. Unfortunately, I haven't quite figured out the whole system quite yet, but still got some good photos from there, here and there. But man, just between that, people like Danny Lees, who's making all these graphics, Nel Nieves, the kid from Chicago that we just met up with at the book tour. The young kid.
The other photographer, Lucas.
Lucas, here you go. Lucas, all the YouTubers, all the podcasters, photographers, singers, people that sang songs and wrote songs,
comedy shows,
comedians,
sketches, like, and then don't even get me started on like our celebrity collab list of the presidential run. That's the one thing that really blew my mind. I was like, how do you not win with that? Like Donald Glover,
Yeah.
Comedian who shall not be named right now. Well, the one I will name is Norm Macdonald. Rest in peace. I love Norm.
Man.
What the hell? Norm Macdonald took over Andrew's Twitter account for like one of those debates. That was hilarious.
Yes. Captain Midnight.
He just signed like every tweet. It's like, is Captain Midnight here?
I was thinking about doing a funny video on. It won't live on YouTube per se, because I'd probably get in fucking trouble. But this is like a TikTok material. I was thinking about doing a Norm Macdonald like impressions. I love doing Norm impressions, and of him reading his own obituary and being surprised that he died.
It's like, I didn't know he was sick.
Yeah, he's like, turns out this guy died. I died, Holy fuck. Like, I love Norm because he has his own, he's like the Christopher Walken of stand-up. Like, he had his own cadence. He lived by his own beat, and he said, fuck your rules, period. And I love that about Norm. He was all about disruption and he's a weirdo, man, but I fucking loved him. And it's a sad that a guy like that, and then he suffered in silence, didn't even tell nobody that he was, fighting cancer, which is sad that he did that alone. We've, like you said, there's so much creativity and people donating their time, like Mia, like Nell, like who else was some of the graphics? All I can't even. There's so many fucking people. Sasha fucking sent me that Yang
Oh,
fucking t-shirt.
have we mentioned Bang
Yo.
Spider?
Spider-Man, of course.
AKA Michael Leach, if you
That's
like
right.
literally word for word, that's his Twitter handle.
I think Michael actually was one of the first orders of my book. I think I need to get back to him. I need to check my DMs. So Michael, if you enjoy your copy,
oh yeah, man,
make some memes. Get a photo scanner. Just DM me and I can send you the shots.
Yeah. Well, so Andrew just had his last book tour this past weekend in New York City, and there's been no real announcements of what's happening next. So it's kind of we're in a calm before the storm kind of moment right now. I think we're gonna head into the holidays kind of chilling, like we're gonna head into these next couple months, might be a little bit quieter. He'll still be doing his little tours, his little book showings, his podcast rounds.
Yeah, his next thing is Voter Choice Arizona, November Zoom. And you can sign up for that either. I've got a couple links that you could post in the doc.
Put that in the private chat and I'll throw it in the comments too. That way people can sign up for that. Oh yeah. Also, so while we're here, Mia, you got some notes from the volunteer thing for Forward Party that I didn't get to go to.
I do. I want to read those, but let me paste this first. So if you want to go through a couple of them while I'm arranging that, you can.
Let's see.
I completely just pasted what Blair put there instead because she did.
And, shout out Blair.
Blair and JC, both of them, amazing, awesome.
Hells yeah.
Like beyond perfect peoples. We have so many grade A humans in the Yang Gang. It's insane.
Okay, yeah. So so Mia has about 12 points from this the volunteer meeting for the what the fuck you want to call it?
The first Forward Party meet.
There, I'm gonna. I see your thing now. Copy link. There we go. Yeah. So they had it's like at 1:00. I couldn't make it, unfortunately. Yeah. There's the link. The links in there. That's for the Forward Party volunteer, and then the other one is for the Arizona. And I'll put that in the comments. There. So those are both the links in the comment section, guys. You can sign up for those. But yeah, so of course the big thing is the primary focus is ranked choice voting, open primaries. It's not about running a presidential candidate. It's not about running a specific candidate under the specific Forward Party. It's about finding people that agree with ranked choice voting, open primaries. First and foremost, we have to fix our democracy from the duopoly. And then it says, so they wanted the things we need to do to move from a PAC to a party officially. We need to be organized as possible, so it's a high priority for people to set up their profiles in the portal. Mia, do you have a link to the portal? I would actually like to share that too. I'm not sure if I don't have that on.
I will get a direct link to the portal while you continue through that and post that in the private chat again.
Okay. Gotcha. And so point number 2 is state committee setups are on their way, and more info is expected to be ready within a week. So we're doing state chapters as well. If you're looking like a YGRO type of role, that's your type of skill set you want to double down on, this is the place to be in the coming weeks. And it says point number 3, bullet point is once interim state leaders are set up, they will be empowered to build their teams using the portal and will have direct support from the national team. Number 4, we hope we have to set up in the portal a way that identifies people's skills and passions and connects them to a way to contribute. Like, I like editing videos and live streaming and showing up to events. You don't want me like fucking writing articles. That's, like that's pointless. Or, like they want to make sure our passions matches our pursuits. And then let's see where to go. Yeah, making the volunteer experience positive and rewarding is a top priority. Point 6, don't go rogue. Hate to start out with a negative.
I know why they added that.
Hell yeah.
Oh, do you want to elaborate? Please elaborate for us if you want to take a second while we.
It's like, like I said, the system when the regional organizer system was there during the early stages of the presidential, it did kind of seem, they didn't have the tailoring system then, at least that well polished. So you would see some projects that maybe someone would work so long on, but then it's like they didn't really let anyone know about it, or people just didn't get the memo and they didn't know how to plug it in. So I assume don't go rogue. It's just kind of like communicate, what, if you are going to be doing something, just don't do it completely, I guess, on your own, because how the hell how is the team supposed to know and amplify it then?
And I will. That's a really good point. And Blair actually has office hours listed on the volunteer site. So if you have a question, if you're not sure about something, you can directly ask and find out. You don't have to wonder. Hi, Tristan. Love you, Tristan.
But yeah, so there's also what they're going to be doing is they're going to be narrowing down the first states they want to actually have a party in certain states. So at first, the first couple rounds of states are going to go for party status. But if your state isn't one of the first ones they've chosen, you will still have the same opportunities and will still be able to form a group. It all helps us file for party recognition within the FEC. So yes, please sign up to the portal, fill out your profile. It helps us have a bigger picture of who is here. And again, guys, there's the link, volunteer.forwardparty.com. So sign up. I still haven't done that, so I'm kind of guilty. I got to do that probably soon.
I've signed up. I've done an opportunity already. I need to actually post it there because it wasn't working when I first put it up, and it's been days.
Yeah.
I owe that to them, but
yes. And also they wanted to let us know they're having some new merch dropping soon. And she says, you guys are killing it at the Forward Your Library opportunity. I'm not sure what that is. That like the memes and shit, or
it's making flyers for library organizing events so that people can know where to go.
Yeah.
When we start trying to recruit.
Yes.
And some of the places that they want to recruit at, skate rinks, libraries. There was a third one that I thought was really cool, and I can't remember it. Oh, well.
Yeah. And so the next point they make is they want to start making a list of candidates you want to see supported. They're likely to run forward party candidates in independents and nationally with a forward party endorsement to get over some of the initial barriers forming a party. Some states require a candidate to identify with a party for X amount of time before they can run on the ballot. This helps set us up for the next election cycles. The big point, grow numbers. Get ready to host local events or Zoom calls. Generate excitement near you and build your teams. I'm about that shit. Last 2 points. A big focus will be community engagement. Fun activities. Think Yang Gang Hangs, skate night, hosting food drives, environmental cleanups, etc. Make sure you take attendance at any meeting you host via IRL or virtual. Proof of meetings is another staple of party recognition. And last point, once we have all our interim state leads set, we'll host another big meeting to go over next action steps. So again, guys, in the portal, go here and then go to the portal. And so that's where we're at. Those are our marching orders, if you will. Again, don't go fucking rogue.
Be a team player.
Is it that hard? I mean, goddamn, people. But yeah, because we've learned some mistakes. We've learned from our mistakes. And that's the big one. Like, we got to be organized, guys. Especially you're going to be talking FEC violations, fines. Bernie learned that the hard way too, about how letting people go rogue under your umbrella of authority fucks you up. Because Bernie got fined directly for some shit about him being at a meeting that was hosted by the PAC and that supported him. He didn't really, he didn't know that, oh, this is formal. Like, what the fuck? So Bernie's not the only one, guys. I'm just one that I know personally that's happened to him where he got in trouble just for that one. And of course, they all fuck up and we all make mistakes.
If you're doing anything informal, by the way, make sure to declare that in as many places as you possibly can. Be very clear that you are not associated with the campaign if you're going to try and do something individual to support it.
Right.
It's important that you take that responsibility on if you're not going to run it by somebody first.
So I just want to show you guys kind of what this looks like once you sign up. So you go into here, volunteer now. Is this the portal, right? That's it? Volunteer portal? Yeah, I think so. So you'll log in. Oh, damn it. I can't do it. Okay, well, so here's the thing. It shows you opportunities, events. There's the programs getting started, the library they're talking about, highlighting volunteer and artists like someone here, book tour dates and whatnot. Unfortunately, I'm not going to log in while we're live. That's kind of crazy.
Oh, come on. Show us your password.
Oh, fuck. And my credit card information while we're at it, you know?
Yeah. Spice it up.
But yeah, of course, Von's like, fucking do it. Oops, sorry. Do it now. But yeah, so like these are what we can do moving forward. But first, before you sign up for the Forward Party portal, go buy a fucking book, will you?
Not officially endorsed by the Forward Party per May's.
Yes.
This is my personal project, though.
That's right.
Yeah.
But before you do that, if you can afford it, guys, go take back your beer bottles. If you're in Michigan, get 10 cents, right? Take back your bottles and go buy a goddamn book. Support a local artist. That's what Yang Gang's all about, is supporting artists, entrepreneurs, up-and-comers. That's what's up.
We all want a UBI so we can take care of each other.
Absolutely. And that's the whole point. I'm sure Mark's getting one of his doozies.
I mean, come on. You know, I'm trying to find this one photo. Damn it. There we go. Here's one you'll remember, boys.
Okay, let's see it.
It's the remember this rally? Good old Chicago.
Oh yeah.
This is what to expect. We got some break dancing and Andrew's reaction, and then we got some of the crowd stuff. We've also got some massive full page ones, double page,
beautiful,
right there. So again, this is something really put a lot of love and work into. Hope you can check it out. Helps me out a lot, and I will try to get orders out as soon as possible based on that one constraint of ordering them 20 at a time.
What's your average turnaround right now? Once you get 20, you make the order. What's your turnaround looking like? A few weeks to get that?
Oh yeah, yeah. Once the books are like they've been ordered to be printed and all that, it's less than 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, so I gotta buy your book within the next week to make sure it gets here for Christmas presents. Okay.
Yes, that's the thing is we're gonna try to get another 20 orders hopefully by the end of this month. And yeah, you know, anything helps, even solo orders help. Don't feel like you gotta get in a group chat with 19 other people and say we're all gonna order this at this exact time. Don't overthink it, but spread the word.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that either.
Yes, those are my marching orders.
If we can get 5 sets of 20 orders, we got your goal met.
Oh yeah. No, that would be amazing.
We're tinking around it, right? We're tinking.
But yeah, klockow.co / pre-order is the official link. Fear and Loathing on the 2020 campaign trail. I almost screwed up that name again. But there you guys go. That's another say. You can also check out my portfolio if you really want to browse around. But this is the only thing I'm selling on my website right now. So
yes.
Maybe we'll do prints. Prints wouldn't be a bad idea. I think individual prints we might look into that.
That's actually something you could do later. Yeah, that makes sense. But only sell the book right now, of course.
Yeah. One thing you can get, and it has to be a giant collection. Gosh, look at me.
There are some in there that I want to buy. Because there's a couple of that I of in like Ohio and LA and stuff like that. I want to buy a couple of those that I didn't get a capture. Because when you're behind the camera live streaming, you don't get pictures of yourself at these events. You know,
I got a few of you.
and I got a couple of you.
Oh yeah.
And you know, like it's one of those weird things. Like I'm there documenting, but I'm not being like I don't take time to like. I always took selfies with people. I love that. I wish I had it up right now. I'd pull up that video, that photo of you, and you keep in my house. That one guy from Chicago, and you put on my Chef Boyardee hat.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
Good
so
times.
you know, I just hope that people can get on board with this, man. Because you deserve all the credit you get, and I hope you make at least 100. I'd rather see another comma next to that motherfucker. Let's make it 1,000.
Wow.
And let you like truly.
You really want me to live at the post office, don't you?
Let's
get postal banking going while we're at it.
I just want you to be able to pursue your passions without any fiscal restraints, you know?
Yeah.
I want you to have I want to see you be able to have a year's worth of bills paid so you can focus. I mean, think about that.
Tall order, but hey, if we can get
1,000 books.
Is that 1,000 books? Does 1,000 books do that for you?
Oh, easily, yes.
Okay.
I crunched the
That's
numbers.
what I mean, though. Like, if he literally gets 1,000 books, there's more than 1,000 people in this fucking movement. So
easily, yes.
1,000 people.
Coming up.
I mean, seriously, and tax return season's coming. I can see a little boost coming in February and March, you know. So I think that if we could help Mark out and he can pursue his passions for a calendar year with no worries, that's a universal basic income, and he provided a service, and we should reward him with an income like that, a secure. What do you call it? It's not passive income; it's fucking work, man. So I think that'd be a great gift we could give you back for all your work, and to say thank you by buying something. I can't fucking wait to get that book in my hands.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna try like hell to get it before Christmas in my box, man. God damn it.
Keep us updated on where you're at on the goal too. We could like actually like go for 1,000 as a thing. Just keep going until we get there.
We need to talk to Nell about making you a little meter dinger thingy.
We have a
I'll have my own little meter, you know, like
the
classic. Andrew's running through the progress bar.
He's jumping up that ladder, you know.
I mean, hey, we're 1,000 guys. You might as well do the one we did for New Year's. The New Year's goal was a rocket ship. You remember that?
I loved that. And it got high enough. There was like an eagle that would fly by.
Yeah.
Then when we got to the real end, there was a little astronaut up there. It was the best. I was showing. I loved that time. That was my.
Think about how crazy these events were, where the weirdest fucking things happen, like an eagle. Like, oh, mighty eagle, you know, like so many crazy things that we can remember from this book, these times that, you know, for and all of us that were lucky enough to even get there, because I know everybody can't get to these events. They're all over the fucking country, and some people can't do this shit, man.
You know, even as an observer, I wasn't able to go. I've got a child with autism who needs me at home, but I was living vicariously through you people during that time. So there's a lot of positivity associated with those memories, even if you didn't get to be there, if you were part of this movement. And I think that there's a lot of value to be had if you were on the sidelines, getting to have that like personal, tactile feeling of being there and seeing what you did miss.
A physical book is different. It hits different, as the kids say. You know, you Gen Zs, Mark, right?
Yeah.
You're
I'm on the precipice of Gen Z. I've heard a lot of debate on when that starts. And 80% of cases I'm Gen Z.
Yeah. But yeah, I just really, any parting words, Mia, Mark, anything? Because I mean, I really love this fucking live stream. It's been too long.
Sign the hell up. Sign the hell up at the Forward Party portal. Get yourself a role, be a leader, and do something. It's amazing. It feels good. I know that it's hard to get started, but do it. It rocks.
Well, like we said earlier, like Mark said earlier, hey man, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but guess what? I'm gonna go do it. And then you become an expert by doing shit. You become an expert photographer by taking fucking photos.
It's and it's also having a good group of people around you too, and a good team that doesn't believe in that whole hierarchy thing. I mean, of course they could have been like, oh, we already got a staff photographer, shoot Mark off to wherever. It's like, no, they didn't do that. They actually treated me like I was, part of the team, part of the family. And hell, come the New York run, it really, really felt that way. So, again, thank you everybody for, all the love and support and stuff. I mean, 90% of my like Twitter followers are like all somewhat Yang related.
So the 22nd is the next one with Ching Jewel, right?
Yep, Ching Jewel. That is the 22nd, Monday the 22nd at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
I'm sure she'll put out a link or something.
Yep.
I'll be sharing it. My Twitter I'm most active about the book and stuff right here.
Yep.
So go here on Twitter if you don't know where to find me. And yeah, all in all, thank you, boys, because
boom,
1,000 copies. I mean, that's a lot, but
that's a realistic goal.
Is it?
I think it is. That's a realistic long-term goal.
If I can get 20 out based on one tweet, I'm trying to figure, okay, let's do this podcast.
Andrew, here's the thing: Andrew gets his book in his hands. He'll take a picture and tweet it. There's 1-point-something million people.
Well, and there might be another little part to that too that I was alluding to earlier.
Right.
A certain podcast studio. Yeah.
If you get 1% to see it and you get 1% to interact with it,
yeah,
that's 10,000 people. So you need 1% of the 1% of the 1% to hit 1,000.
Okay, Bernie.
Start taking off zeros. Marcus, we gotta make a sale. The billionaires are taking all the money. We got to get it to you people, okay?
What we need to do is order Mark's book, get it before the holidays, shipping 2 to 3 week turnaround. Yeah, no, but really, thank you, not only both of you, like me, boys, both of y'all, and just everyone that's been involved so far in this, stuck around. And also, I get it too. If, even if you're not like a massive, I'm still as much on board as, or I'm not as much on board as I was maybe in 2020, not maybe like someone hypothetically here. I get it. But hey, this book is a time capsule from the memories we made from 2020. And I just really, really appreciate any level of support, sharing out the link, talking about the book, especially if you've ordered the book, do what Andrew did. Andrew had a very smart system of sending people forward copies of forward. And it's like, wow, look at this book that's coming out. And
guys, if you buy it, screenshot it, tweet it out. Cover up your important parts.
Yeah. Don't need your credit card info there.
Share it out, man. Show people, lead by example. If you got it, get it. I'm buying an extra one as a Christmas gift. And if I have enough money after I buy my kids all their bullshit, my girlfriend, then I might buy another and actually do a giveaway here on the Trickle Up. And just give one away as a raffle type of thing live. And that's the thing.
Tag us with it so we can share it too.
Yes.
Because obviously we want to know if you went through and did it, and it's a good way to
Yep, we want to
celebrate. I'm getting tired now, boys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
my brain's turning
off. Hour and 30 stream. I mean, well done.
That's just getting started for me back in the day. That was just a fucking warm up, baby. Last time you live streamed me, Mark, I think, was that when I shaved my beard?
Was it?
I don't know.
I might have maybe popped into your channel here and there. But yeah, no, I do remember the beard stream. That was fun.
That was madness. The butthole beard.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
I do have one last comment for you, boys.
What's that?
I'm enjoying your shirt because I've been rewatching Dexter with my son.
That's right.
And
ninth season started.
That's everybody's favorite boat.
Everybody's favorite serial killer, Dexter. Oh, hey, speaking of
Lucas.
Yes, this is the other photographer.
The person that helped hold it down in New York City Lucas, again, I don't know how the hell you're so talented at you know, just like not only just your age, but just your wherewithal and everything, dude.
Mhm.
Keep on stabbing at it. Lucas, everyone look up Lucas online. Subscribe to his YouTube, follow his Twitter, support Lucas because Lucas just wowed me. You know, when I met Lucas out there, I was like, oh my God, however the hell you came into this picture, I am so glad you're here. And thank you for being someone we could trade, we could trade events with. That was the important thing, because no way in hell one photographer for 5-6 events in a day. That is too much.
Yeah, Vaughn was asking about the hat, man. Guys,
I got something like that too somewhere.
My supplier just called, or I texted me this, or emailed me this week, or last week, I'm sorry, on Friday, that the supply chain for the Delta Flex Fit hats I want, they don't know when they're going to get them. So they're offering me a different hat. I'm still going to order hats, but I'm going to give everybody the option that already prepaid for a hat. I can give you a full refund back your money, or you can get the other hat. It's just the same hat, just a different material. Yeah, it really sucks, man. It's taken over 3 months to just finally just give up on that fucking Delta Fit hat. It's the best hat, man. I thought it felt the best. But yeah, so we'll be doing that shit. Yeah, I definitely have a picture of you and Lucas together in Chicago, remember?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we had to document that little slice in time. Gosh, riding the Amtrak for the first time out there. That was odd, but
yeah. Yep. Well, all right, guys, we're going to go and kill it. Tune in next week with Ching Jules channel on the 22nd at 4 p.m. Eastern to catch Mark here.
We'll be talking about this book again and again. And maybe I'll just start leaking different stories. Anne's in the book. Hold on. Before we end it, Anne just came in the chat. Gotta
you
highlight
have
Anne.
a picture of her in there with Andrew.
Of course I do.
Your Detroit homie.
Because and
Chicago.
And you dominate these pages because there's a massive story about going out there. But that's Anne right there, coming on out.
That was a Chicago fundraiser.
Yep, and that was there's a little story about the volunteer, I guess HR department we called it. But hey, we got a story for every little section. So
you got it.
Check out the book. It's so nice seeing everyone here. Thank you so much for your support. And thank you, boys. And May.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, man. And you guys take it easy and go read a fucking book, preferably forward.